Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to COASTER-net Update. We've got some more news out of Doswell, Virginia, where COASTER-net has just received an invitation to the announcement for the brand new 2022 Coaster/Coasters. We just did a video yesterday on this with Danny, and now Jeff, you're here with us tonight to talk a little bit about what this invitation says. So there's a lot to break down here, and maybe we're going to overly break this down, but if anyone recalls the Twisted Timbers campaign, we overly broke that down. Like, we were inspecting pixels on some of those pictures. So
yeah, I expect a box from King's Dominion with like a jeweler's glass in it or a magnifying glass.
Oh, that was cool. So I'm throwing the picture up there now. So it says, you're invited to discover what's in store for 2022. King's Dominion, August 12th, 2021 is the official date that we'll finally discover what is happening here at King's Dominion. Some general information there. And then some interesting things. It says, join us as we unearth new adventures at King's Dominion. I don't know, let's start there. They use the word adventures.
Plural is definitely better than singular.
Yeah. So you know, like we were trying to kick around this idea of, is this a multiple attraction edition here that we talked about on the last show, possibly, because we know there's a free fly coming to King's Dominion. We already know that. We heard the rumor of the wing coaster. Was that ditched? Was that changed? We don't know. Is that coming in 2022? Is that down the line? Is it not happening at all? So there's a lot to break down there, but adventures, to me, like, you could just say unearth a new adventure, period. Why do the S there? Like, it's strange, right?
Yeah, I mean, unless they're just messing with us, unless they just want us excited, overly excited.
But see, that's the problem, is if and maybe I'm causing some of this ruckus, and I usually do.
You like ruckus. It's okay.
But I love ruckus. But if you try to tease more and then give less in the end, that usually doesn't turn out well. like August 12th might turn ugly if you. That's why you have to be very, very careful with how you do things, because if people start, and people are always going to say, you know, giga, whatever, but let's build the biggest and the baddest. But if you start leading people to believe that there's more than one thing here, that people do get that disappointment issue that happens. Now, once again, the free fly is clearly being teased here in this photo. You have the bamboo that is on the left side, and like we said on the last show, the supports are that bamboo. Now the colors are inverted here, so the bamboo is green and this parchment paper is tan. And on the free fly, we know the bamboo supports are tan and the track is green. So they're using the same color scheme as the free fly. So to temper expectations, all of this is being done in the color scheme of the free fly. So it could be that.
Yeah.
It could just be what it seems. It could just be a free fly at King's Dominion. But to break it down further, you have some other things going on here. You have the compass. You have a picture of a lizard down in the lower left-hand corner. That's the picture of the lizard and the picture of the monkey, the symbol of the monkey up at the top, both seem very Mayan-y, very Aztec-y. Which
they look like that to me too, definitely, especially the one at the top. The one at the bottom, you know, it is kind of in a little bit of a different style though. But that's the lizard guy there. Down next to the compass. But a little bit of a different style, but it still has that kind of feel to it, right?
Yeah, and I'm breaking it down even further. And there is, if you now we looked at this before. If you look under the leaves on the right-hand side, there is a little swirl there as well that does not look like it's a part of the map. It looks like it was added in Photoshop to the map. And maybe the swirl, maybe there's three things on here. Maybe they represent, the monkey represents one thing, the lizard represents one thing, and then that swirl on there, which is strange because it's kitty corner from the lizard, and it doesn't seem like that swirl should be like, it seems like it was added there.
Yeah. It's also I say it's a good picture to represent the motion on a free fly.
Well, you could say that too. So and then the last thing to overly break this down is at the very top and bottom you have like this diamond like pattern, right?
Yeah.
And to me you have two diamonds at the top and bottom, and then you have these arrows through the middle. And looking down at it, and they use these arrows again where it says you're invited to discover what's in store for 2022. They use these same arrows again to point your eyes into that text. But on that symbol, I don't know, looking down, it kind of looks like a wing coaster to me, right?
A little bit. It's got the two opposed kind of thing going on.
Yeah, we're getting real. I told you we're gonna get ridiculous here. We're gonna get real silly. So, so you have like the front and the back, you have the arrows that are pointing outwards now. But if you were to look at a top-down positioning of a wing coaster, it would kind of look like that. Now they do put, I don't want to count here. No, there's way more than what you would have.
No, it's way too many for a train. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way too many for a train there. Someone also said on YouTube, I think her name was Rachel. I started a whole thing on there about invert. She said, well, what about if they were doing an invert to make up for Volcano? And I said, wait a minute, Danny and I forgot about this completely. Danny and I talked about this years ago when they rumored the wing coaster, and we said, wouldn't it be even cooler is if they did a launched B&M invert to put in the Volcano place? I think that would be outstanding. And how that would go. How would you receive that one?
I don't know. I'm stuck on this unearth, and like the invert and the wing make me feel like flying.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I feel like it needs, I don't want to say dive like a dive coaster, because I know we all have dive coaster on our mind too, but like that diving down into something, it's kind of like the opposite of being blasted out of the volcano. I just like that. But whatever it is, I think that if they do the opposite, I think that would be cool.
Wouldn't that be something if we get more than one dive coaster in 2022? Wouldn't that be something? Because
they're affordable, they're fun, everybody loves them except for enthusiasts.
And it wouldn't be the first time either that we saw this happen. We saw this happen with Fiesta Texas, and with California's Great America with the Wonder Woman and the Railblazer clones.
That's true. Yeah.
So it let's just hope it's not the same exact model. Because why did Fiesta all of a sudden announce at the end of July? Like, that's what they did last time.
They need to get ahead of it.
They need to be the first one out of the gate, and so it doesn't look like a clone.
Now, not to pick on Fiesta here, or to keep drawing to Fiesta, but it's really a trend across everything. Is when they did Copperhead Strike, they kind of redid the whole area. It was retheming the flats that were there. They did a plaza, they did food, they did the ride. West Coast Racers did the same thing. They did new food, they did an area, the plaza, they did the ride. Maybe the adventures, plural, and I don't want to take us away from more rides, because that's what I'll kill every single flower in Busch Gardens if they put in more rides. But I know.
People's heads just exploded.
But what if it's a giga? A giga's worth more than one flower. All right. But
the Cedar Point people have been trying to save trees for 20 years there. So I don't know.
Yeah, they can save them for when they get their wood coaster. But it could be something like that, where we're getting a ride and a plaza and an area, and maybe redoing the food over there. That Congo restaurant looks kind of dated. That whole area of the Congo looks kind of dated, and the Congo is left over from Paramount. Maybe they want to put their own stamp on it.
Well, and that's the thing is using the Congo. You get into issues of race and ethnicity and using cultural things in a theme park. So if you were to take that out, and like we've been talking about how some of these pictures do look, kind of like Mesoamerican in some respects, but they're not exactly that. So they're interpretations of that. And if you start mixing themes and you start mixing that, and like I said in the last show, make it into that lost continent type feel of, it's just a generic lost temple in a generic lost area or overgrown area, then you can basically do whatever you want in that area. You can even keep some of the stuff you already have. You're going to be able to keep some of the things you have on the crypt, which also fit what's going on here. So if you're talking that this is just going to be the free fly, then using some of the set pieces you had on the crypt and reusing that into this new queue area, then that would make a lot of sense. And retheming the whole Congo to like a lost continent, I think makes that easier, because it was never really there's mountains and there's some volcanoes in Africa, but it's not really
well, if it's a fictional place, you get whatever you want. You could have everything.
Yeah. So if you take away that, okay, this is the Congo, and you put it more into a fantasy type area, then you can do whatever you want, and you can reuse whatever you want. You could reuse part of, I've always thought the volcano queue line was one of the most unique queue lines anywhere in any park. Like, it was well themed, it looked cool, it had, I don't know how you could reuse it based on what Volcano did and how you went down and how ADA is affected by that now. But I always thought that was a really cool queue line when you walk up into the mountain and over to like the wood beams and whatever. And that whole area. The what?
I said I even walked through it.
Yeah, exactly. So did you wait in it though, ever?
Only once.
Yeah, I every time I rode Volcano, I don't think I've ever waited up there. I think I always went down the stairs first.
Walk right through, yeah.
Yeah. So like there's a lot of cool things you can do if you just take it outside the real world there. So with this invitation, I think the one big announcement is we know now when this is. We know it's August 12th. We're going to have an answer here. We know that the free fly is absolutely part of this because of the bamboo. I think that's,
and the color scheme. Yeah, it's just gonna be.
Like, obviously this is the free fly. The question is there more after this, or is this just going to be the free fly?
But even if it's just the free fly, and then retheming some of the dated stuff, or even retheming Avalanche, a la they're retheming Poltergeist to kind of breathe some new life into it.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm still pushing for a launch B&M invert, because that's what I want to see in my life. Because I still think Thunderbird's launch is maybe the best launch in the industry. I still love the Thunderbird launch. I think it's better than Dragster. I think it's better than King Ka. The Thunderbird launch is so good because you get quicker. It doesn't ever let up. It doesn't let up until you actually get off the actual launch mechanisms. So that's what I'm hoping for. I don't know about you, but we'll see. Down the road, hopefully. Maybe we'll need some more time to develop that. So anyway, any final thoughts here on this?
Not really, unless it's a B&M, and then I think like we were saying in the pre-show, I think that the competition recently has kind of pushed them out of their comfort zone, and I'm liking seeing them do different stuff. So maybe if it is a B&M, it won't be quite like a formula, unless it's a clone of the one at Six Flags Fiesta Texas,
or a clone, because the other rumor was the clone of the wing coaster.
The Chinese wing coaster, yeah,
would be I think it was Hot Go as well.
Hot Go Park, yeah, I think that sounds right, yeah.
So we'll see what happens, but we'll be watching Kings and Minions Twitter for even more and more teasers and clues to see if it's just the free fly or maybe more adventures, maybe.
Adventures, yeah.
Let's hope for it. So, as always, I am Andrew Barczyk from Chicago, Illinois.
And I'm Jeff Goodman from Long Island, New York.
Right on, Ride Warriors.
Night.